So today's shoot is with somebody new. Forgive me with the light here. I'm sure it's kind of dark and the camera's probably picking up the backdrop as the light. But first thing I want to tell you is I'm using the Westcott X-Drop Pro again. You think with this many videos and me talking up their product so much, they'd send me something for free, but no. Anyway, I got this for location. And the funny thing is it's really amazing that I'm using it as often in the studio as I do on location, because I just love the convenience of it. It just works, and to be able to put up backdrops in seconds, I love it. So there's that. But I'm using the long sweep this time. I'm not a huge fan of the sweep bottom part, but it does work, and if I do want to do a full length, I don't have just my wood floor, I have that. So I'm gonna try it. Anyway, and I'm doing more or less a beauty shoot, not for the beauty shoot part of it, but to show you the post-processing, because a company has reached out to me a few days ago and said, hey, we have a retouching program that we want you to try. And, I just I downloaded it on the MacBook Air and tried it. And it was just like, and I remember like PortraitPro. I used to use that all the time way back when, because that was like the only thing out that was halfway decent. And, don't get me wrong, it does a nice job. It's an all-in-one kind of situation where it does a good job. You can do batch processing. It does 16-bit, I think. I have the studio version. And then I got that Retouch for Me. And after I've been using Retouch for Me for so long, I don't know if it's just set in my head that it's better or if it's actually better. But I want to go through the post-processing of a shoot and show you what I do and how everything works. Versus just telling you. And, I don't think there's anything that beats hand retouching, if you would. As far as like doing everything by hand, some people use the separation process. Some people just go through and retouch with, the spot healing brush, and some people go all out and do, the contrast and you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of processes that people use that they swear by. Everybody has their own thing. But a lot of the shoots I do, which, are just fun client shoots, don't require an extensive amount of retouching to the point of hand retouching and taking up all that time. I do these things called social media shoots, and they could be $150 to $250 depending on what they want. And then I run sales on them, and they're just fun, quick shoots for people for social media posts and so forth. But I want to show you what I do in that process and how I made life a lot easier for myself with this kind of process. Anyway, I'm using, the big lights today. It is the first time I'm shooting one of the girls, and the other girl, her Olivia. But Olivia has, some skin problems that have to be taken in post-processing. And this is a good example of what the programs do and how well they do. I've never met the other girl, so I don't know how her skin is. But I want to show you what I do and how I do it, and like how I take care of, well, if they have a mole they don't want, gotten rid of. If you use an automatic program, it may take care of that mole, it may get rid of it. Or if they have freckles, some of the programs will just get rid of them, and they're gone. So I want to show you what I do in those situations as well. Anyway, so I'm going to do some of the shoot, so you can see some of the shoot, obviously. I'm going to set up now and move everything around because I want to try just a little touch of a different lighting setup. And then we'll get into the retouching and the processing that I do for the images for this kind of shoot. Anyway, again, I apologize for the light. I don't have the LEDs on or anything in the studio. I just have the window light coming in, and, Have a great day. Enjoy the shoot. If you have any questions, leave them below. And I'll talk to you in the next section. Thanks for watching.
So here we go. I'm really excited about showing you the post-processing of this thing. I am going to show you the shoot, just segments of it. But, everything from that great card on how to use it in Lightroom to my automated process. It's exciting for me because it really does help. The shoot, this is simple. I wanted to show you the shoot, just segments of it, so I can just show you the lighting. It is really simple lighting. I have a light behind me, behind that scrim, which is just my fill light. I probably have that at half power, maybe a little higher. The main light is just a 40-inch or 41-inch umbrella. It's a deep umbrella, white, nothing fancy, just that's it. My fill to the right is a gridded 30-inch Octabox by Profoto. That's their new one, the new 3-foot Octa, sorry, not 30-inch, 3-foot Octa. That is the pop-up one that doesn't have the individual rods. I love it because it stays at the same form factor as the original one. So I do love that new softbox. Just adding that in there. Victoria, she did great. She was fine through the whole shoot. When she was a little bit nervous when she comes in. She doesn't do this normally. She did one shoot before, and then before that it was just like her senior photos from years ago. Having Olivia there really helped ease her and relax her into the shoot, which was great. I always love having someone at a shoot. I don't like shooting two people at once, because it just gets to be a pain in the ass sometimes, trying to, coordinate the two and changing and so forth. Now, I switched over to the 28mm lens because I just wanted that 28mm look. I love using 28mm on people. I know, the professional YouTubers / photographers tell you can't do this and you shouldn't do this, but I love it. I think the look is fantastic. And believe me, I'll shoot a close portrait with a 28. I don't care. I love the way it looks. And you can get some unique perspectives with this lens. It's a lot of fun. You definitely should try it. Just don't put them to the side, unless you're going after that weird look. Anyway, I didn't change much with the shoot. I didn't change the lighting that much. I turned the fill light up or down if I wanted just a little bit more shadow. And I moved the main light, up closer when they were on the stool, because they were leaning forward. That's really it. There was nothing else changed in this. That sweep, I didn't mind it this time. Remember, it's cloth, so it's going to move. As soon as they step on it or move, it's going to wrinkle up and so forth. So that's a pain, having to fix it all the time versus paper. But it worked. Now, here's a close-up portrait with a 28mm lens. There's nothing wrong with that. I love that lens. That's the 28 Elmerit, if you're wondering. Anyway, so I switched back to the 50. I'm using the 50 Apo, the Voigtlander 50 Apo, because I really wanted clean images. I like clean images to start because I'm showing the post-processing automated versus if I was just throwing them up, without processing. This lens is fantastic. It's crystal clear, sharp, and, unless I misfocus, but otherwise it's fantastic. The lens just works. I'm just going to say that again. Now, this is a social media session. It's quick and easy. It's inexpensive. They maybe cost $150 to $250 depending on what they want or the time or the outfits. It's just fun for them. It's never going to be printed. They're just going to use these for social media. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on post-processing. It would not be cost effective if I had to. For me, the total amount of time spent on images like this, and this is for two people, for me actually working on the image was 30 minutes. Now, the process took a lot longer, but for me working, it only took 30 minutes. And that's because I'm, a little anal sometimes. Other than that, I could have done this in 10 minutes with the automated process doing all the work. Now this, believe me, there's nothing going to fix. Okay, I'm going to explain this. So, gray card. You go into color, make sure you zoom in so that circle is engulfed with the gray, okay? Pick the shade of gray that works best for the color, and then click the check mark, okay? That's your color balance. The reason I'm doing this, I'm going to copy it. I'm not going to copy anything else. I'm just going to copy the color balance, and then I'm going to go into the thumbnails, and I'm going to paste it on all the thumbnails. This way, I'm consistent with every image, and I don't have to worry about each individual image, trying to color correct and match each individual image. This just does it across the board. The next thing I'm going to do in this is cull the images. I crop them to 4:3 90% of the time. There's for social media, that's all they need. I don't take anything else down, or I may do some light adjustments, that's it. But it's usually just a crop and a save. If it's a vertical, sometimes I'll leave them as is for the verticals so they can post them in their stories and so forth. But this is quick and easy. I just pick my favorites and then I export them. I use DNG because I want to maintain the 16-bit color and I don't want compression on these images. After I export them, I'm going to put them into my computer. I love using iPad, but remember, you don't need an iPad to do this entire process, okay? You can use your computer and Lightroom on that. I like using iPad because I like to sit, relax, and not have a computer in front of me. So I did separate the girls because they're going to need different, processes for the retouching. But again, this is really, really easy. So I pull in my first image from the batch just so I can see what's needed, and I can check my current action and see if my current action is going to work. If it's not going to work, I'll create a new action specifically for her. But now I want to show you PortraitPro. That's the first one I'm going to show you. Just because I downloaded the upgrade to this, I thought, wow, this is going to be great. Considering the time we're in with, automated everything, this would be a fantastic upgrade. It's just mediocre. Now, don't get me wrong, PortraitPro is a great program. And for some people, you will absolutely love this program. Me, I don't do half the things that this thing offers, like reshaping the face and so forth. That's not me. I don't do that. You can reshape the eyes, the face, you can add makeup, you can change the hair, just about everything, but it's not what I do, so the program's not for me. And, for me, I was looking for that, the correction on blemishes and so forth. I figured they would be leaps and bounds of what they were before. They're not. It just does more or less skin smoothing to try to cover them up that way. And that's not what I'm looking for in a retouch program. This is that shape that I just clicked off. I can't stand that. I can't stand reshaping someone and changing who they are for photos. I shut off hair, makeup, all that stuff. I just don't use it. But in the end, the image just isn't what I was looking for. As you'll see, it's a smoothing. It doesn't really correct that well. Pretty much all the blemishes are still there. They're just softer. And that's not what I'm looking for. And you can see the left, the before, and the right after. It pretty much looks the same except for a little blurry and a little softer. So let me show you what I use and why I use it. Now, the first time I saw retouch for me, I was just like, okay, yeah, here's another one. And again, the reason I'm doing this whole video is because someone offered me their retouch program, and I downloaded the free trial, used it one time, and then deleted it because it was pretty much crap. And I don't like to say that. I can't say it was crap. It did the same thing this did. It just softens and tries to make things lighter. For retouch, for me, each individual item is separate. And people bitch about that. And for me, that's the greatest thing in the world because I want every item separate. When it runs through my action, it does a great job. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But now I'm showing you just the actions I have because I thought, well, my actions for her are going to work fine. But I'm going to show you how to build these actions as well, and show you at the end, like, running them in different orders on why that's necessary at times. But you'll see the finished image it's fantastic. It just does a good job. It's not perfect, but it is so much better than the PortraitPro did. And when I zoom in, you'll see the texture of the skin. The texture of the skin is still there. It doesn't just soften it. It maintains that texture, which I love. And it evened out the skin tone and so forth. Now, when I'm happy with it, I go to scripts, and that's it. I'm going to run the script. You select the folder that they're in. I'm going to save to PSD. Again, I don't want these things JPEG'd and compressed and so forth. I want to maintain the quality images. All it's going to do is it's going to run through the action set that you created, and then it's going to save it, and then it's going to open the next image, and this is done automatic. You can walk away, leave it alone, and come back when it's done. That, to me, is everything because I'm not doing all the work. Now, when I pull them back in the iPad, I'm going to do a little, touch up here and there, but it takes me seconds versus hours. Like, because the little things that this program missed or this action missed is going to take care of it for me. Now, here's how to create the action. So first thing I'm going to do is create the folder. I'm just setting up a new folder, and then I'm going to create the action. And as soon as you press record, it's going to start recording. And then I'm going to go through each item that I want to add. Now, I usually have heal first, and I'm not going to do that this time because I want to save heal to the end for a reason. Because again, if somebody has freckles or if they have mole and so forth, heal will get rid of it. And you don't want to get rid of that for some people. So you can still maintain, who they are while using an automated program. That's important to me. This is the blend part of it. So whatever you run each one of these, whatever it's going to be, this is the dodge and burn. You can set the power of it for each individual person. So I can go through each one of the items that I want to use, set the opacity of it, the power of it, and then save it. It's going to save that in the action. It's going to remember it. So it won't go back to 100 or whatever. It's going to save what you used last and what you created the action with. That's why I love this setup so much and why they're doing so well with this. Now, I just jumped to portrait volumes here. This I always keep low, because this will make it look a little plasticky or fake. Some of you may love that, but I just want to show you the before and after. This is set at 104, and you can see, like, it does everything, though. It does the arms, it does the face, it does everything. It adds shadow, highlights. It does a great job. It does add that, but I want more natural look. So I keep mine a little bit low. Actually, I keep it around 25 normally. I'm just keeping it at 48 here so you can actually see the effect on it. So I'm going to just keep recording each one at a time. But then when I get to heal, you see I'm copying the layer now. And I'm creating this separate layer, and then I'm going to run heal. This is for a really good reason, okay? So it's going to go through, it's going to run the heal. I 90% of the time run heal at 100% all the time because I want the blemishes taken care of. And you can see the skin tone is still there even after heal. But what this gives me the option to do now is here, I'm going to shut that off and turn it back on. You can see what it did. But let's say that bottom part right there was a mole, okay? And I want to keep that mole. All I have to do is take my eraser tool and touch it, and I'm done. So I get all the automated stuff done, and all I have to do is just give that a quick touch, and I'm done with the image. Now, I bring this back in, to Lightroom on the iPad when I do this, and that's what this is here. Like, you can see the little things that it missed. I just go into the iPad, use the remove tool or the heal tool and just touch up slightly. I don't want it like fake, and you can see the texture in her skin. This does a spectacular job. They still look natural. I love this, and for me, and now here's the other thing, the background. Okay, well, I left the background open there. I'm not going to do it in Photoshop on the computer. I don't want to run it that way. I want to automate everything. So when I bring it back in the iPad, I pull it into Photoshop, and I'm going to do the same damn thing that I would have done, on the computer. But it takes me it's so much less time on the iPad, and it's a lot more fun just to sit with your feet up and do this. That's why I do it this way. It's, again, the skin tone's there, the texture's there. This works so well, and it's so much faster. Before, doing this many images would have taken me so long. This automated process just saves me so much work and so much effort. There is one other thing that I want to show you, though. Let's say, like, she has laugh lines on her eyes. Now, I don't want to get rid of them. They're natural, but I do want to soften them a little bit because they're pretty harsh. So I'm going to pull this into Photoshop. I'm going to literally create another layer again, just like I did before. I'm going to create the layer, and I'm going to use the healing brush on the layer. It's going to look like they're all gone away. But then I just change the opacity of the layer down a little bit so it's just slightly corrected, but it's softer and it's not as harsh. So there's the opacity going down, and I'll get to a happy medium. I still want those lines because they're laugh lines. They're natural. They're supposed to be there. And then I'll save it that way. This is really it's easy, it's simple, and you can do this stuff on the iPad. And again, you can still do it on the computer. It's the same exact way. It works. The other way is, in Lightroom, you can use the brush tool and then, take down the texture and the contrast or the clarity, and it'll soften a little bit. But I like the Photoshop method the best. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them below. And thanks for watching as always.